Judge, you've been around when you're doing meeting with all these families. What part of the responsibility is mothers? What part of the responsibility is on the father? Because typically the blame goes on the father.
Well, there are no fathers. And see, the thing of it is, these men that just ran off and left the women, these women don't want the men. All they wanted was the babies. And see, you had people like the poetress Nikki Giovanni back in the 60s were going all around the country and they were lecturing the women, and they were young women, and they were saying, you don't need a father for your children. Just get prego, find one that looks good, smart, athletic. Yeah, that one. And don't even tell him that he's the daddy, because if you bring a man into the picture, they screw up everything. So there was this point where if you had the guy around, there was a problem. And then
won the belt, I was like, did it feel different? I was like, I still feel the same because I always felt like I was the best. I always said, this is just a fancy tiara. It comes with me just keep winning. So I never chased a belt ever. I've never. When I won the belt, I was like, did it feel different? I was like, when I won the belt, I was like, did it feel different? I was like, I still feel the same because I always felt like I was the best. I always said, this is just a fancy tiara. It comes with
try something. Oh, see, so now I'm getting an echo. Hold on. What about that? Is that better? No, I'm still getting that echo. Let me see if I can switch the settings. Hold on. Let me try something. What about that? Is that better? Is that better? Let me see. It's good now? Do me a favor, put a one in the chat if that sounds better. I know the stream is probably lagging a second or two behind. So it's got an echo. Man, I can't win for losing. Okay, Chris now. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. So that's what that getting back to what I was talking about with basically the whole, getting into very physical occupations, be it sports, be it certain things you can do in the military, or really military life in general, it can be hard on the body. And that's something you got to factor in. At least with the military, if you keep all of your medical records and stuff while you're in, you can file for disability claims later. In sports, professional sports, even amateur sports, if you get hurt, everything is on you. Everything is on you and your people. And so that's something you gotta take into consideration, you know. And then you gotta remember too, in in both of those endeavors, it's usually the top tier people that make it to where they can play professional and earn some type of living. And that's a very small pool. I think with the NFL, I think it's only like maybe 2% of everybody that plays those sports make it to that plays football makes it to the NFL. That's a very small number, you know. And we all know a whole lot of guys that played football in high school, and we know quite a few that played football in college, and most of them wind up working some 9 to 5, and going on with their lives, but they still got to deal with those injuries from their time in those sports. So that's something to take into consideration, you know. But enough about that. What do y'all want to talk about news-wise, man? Because there's a lot going on, you know. You got that whole Puffy situation. Everybody's got stories to tell about Puffy and his antics. A Diddy or whatever they calling him now. Everybody has, everybody got stories. And, I've said before, the stuff that's going on with Puffy, I heard about that stuff in the 90s, man. As you all know, I had a little rap group going and we were doing shows and stuff in different places. And, I got a chance to meet a few people in the industry as far as performers and people who work in the industry on the support and management side. And, certain names would come up: R. Kelly, Puffy, Common. I actually did a couple of shows with Common. My group, we did a couple of shows with Common. And I got a funny story. We did a show at the Riviera, I want to say like maybe 91, 92, and a fight broke out. And the funny thing about it, before the fight, the guy's trying to fight Common on stage, man. He's sitting up there doing his songs, and he punching and kicking at guys from the stage. It was wild, man. And then a big fight broke out. Man, it had to be, man, 100 dudes fighting in the Riviera. So that was a wild time, man. Yeah, that was a wild time, man. So Yeah, your boy could write a book about some of the stuff I've uh, experienced in my life, man. You know, a lot of stuff that in these circles, you have a lot of guys that when you really listen to them and you listen to some of the you read some of the questions that they ask and you look at some of the questions that they type in chats and stuff, it seems like a lot of the guys are sheltered, and that's nothing wrong with that because you don't want your kids, your young people being involved with a whole lot of stuff out there in the streets. But it's like, man, it's hard for me to sometimes understand that, man, some of these guys were really sheltered, man. They really don't understand what's out there. It's really, you know, uh, it's really amazing that when they hear certain stuff, they don't believe that stuff like that happens. But it's a big world, and a lot of stuff goes on, and you're not going to see it all. But that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. You know, um, I've seen a lot, but I haven't seen everything. You know, what's funny is like I'll point something out or tell my wife about something, and she'd be like, "Oh no, that can't be real," and I'm like, "No, that's real, babe. That's yeah." And some stuff just shock her because my wife didn't grow up in a she didn't grow up in a city environment. She didn't grow up in an urban environment. She grew up in the country. So life was very different for her. She had 300 people in her whole high school. My graduating class was 500, over 500 people. That was just my graduating class. That's how big my high school was. It was like 560 people in my graduating class. And that was the people that made it through to the 12th grade. We're not counting all the people that came through and dropped out of school and stuff. So that was crazy. But, there are a lot of people out there that experience life like my wife. And I have to remember a lot of times that there are more people like that than there are people like me who grew up in a big city. And not only did I grow up in a city, I was all over the city. I wasn't confined to the neighborhood because for gang banging and stuff. Since I wasn't in that life, I kind of had a pass to kind of move in certain places. And plus, because I was involved in entertainment at an early age, be it uh, rap, be it breakdancing, be it DJ, because I was a b-boy doing all of that stuff. You get around, you meet people, you go different places and stuff, and you see a lot of different scenes and scenarios. So you have that there, and you realize, man, that's a lot going on, and just like I said, I got a chance to meet a lot of people, man, and specifically with people in the entertainment industry that were coming through Chicago, operating in Chicago, whatnot. So I got a chance to see a lot. I got a chance to see R. Kelly going to these different high schools like Kenwood, Hyde Park. He was going to Lincoln Park too on the north side. Yeah. Yeah, he had his creepy ass around there a few times too. So, he was making the rounds. Oak Park River Forest High School was another one he would pop up at from time to time, um, all with the goal of trying to get with them young girls. Because that's what he was always on that. Every since he got on, that's what he was doing. So the whole Aaliyah thing that didn't surprise me one bit. So yeah, man, yeah. So yeah, so getting back to Puffy, man. We heard stuff about Puffy for years with some of the shenanigans he would participate in, some of the highly questionable stuff he was doing. And this was back from like the Mary J. Blige days. That's when I remember first coming into contact with people who were in contact with Puffy. You know, when Mary J. Blige first dropped, and you like I said, you see stuff. Before that, I ran into guys like Big Daddy Kane, ran into guys like Mr. C, which I knew about him for a long time. So when he got caught up in all that stuff with the transgender, I wasn't surprised. I met guys like Guru and Premier from Gangstar. That was one of the big highlights of my life back then. I was like, oh my God, this dude is one of my rap heroes. So yeah, man. Yeah, I got a chance to meet a few people, man. Like I said, he did shows with Common. At the time, his DJ was Twilight Tone, um, who is now he's got another name. He's got a something Khan. I think he's using his name Anthony Khan or something like that. Um, yeah, I know them guys. And apparently Tone is he's DJing in New York, making his money and stuff. So yeah, I was in a few breakdance crews and a few party crews, whatnot. Used to do the dance battles, all of that goofy stuff, man. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. Yeah. So yeah, man. I've had a I've had an interesting life, man. Then I had a career in law enforcement, went through, saw a lot of stuff, experienced a lot of stuff, went through a lot of bullshit with that, and you know, got my scars and lived to tell about it. You know, I'm thinking about writing a book about all the experiences and stuff I went through. You know, one of the big things I talk about a lot is workplace bullying, non-sexual hostile working environments. And, I experienced that firsthand, um, dealt with it in you know, in a negative sense. And, it just, man, I'll tell anybody in a work environment, bad leadership, bad management, it is a morale killer, and it is definitely um it's definitely counterproductive. It's toxic, you know, and you know when it was my time to go, I left. I left as soon as I was able to retire, man. That's what I did, and so now you guys got to deal with your boy, Mr. Babble, you know, Mr. Royce Babble, you know, yeah, man. So even the stuff with the passport bro stuff, man. Um, I experienced a lot of a lot of these new passport bros are experiencing. I experienced that stuff back in the mid '90s. Traveling to different countries and stuff. I was traveling before I even joined the military, so it was like it was nothing to me. And seeing different countries, talking to different people in different countries, dealing with women in different countries and stuff. That's, that none of that is new to me. Now, did I ever participate in the commercial side of the game? No. 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 Would I tell if I did? Yeah. I got no problem with it. If I did it, I got no problem with it. I mean, over in a lot of them countries it's legal, you know. But no, I didn't do that because that's just not what you did. You know, it was looked down upon, you know, and you know, you more or less any dealings you had with any woman, you got it off the mouthpiece. You know, understanding what I understand now, I wouldn't waste the time. But yeah, I wouldn't waste the time. Yeah, so how we doing over there on Rumble? How we doing over there on Facebook? Do I have anybody in those rooms? Nope. Well, we're gonna change that. We gonna grow this thing. You know, I can't even see my videos on Twitter, man. I am not a fan of that. Last videos I had on Twitter were back in February. That ain't cool. So I've streamed since February. Oh, I know why. It's not connected to my. It's not connected to my Rumble. So that's why I can't see nothing on Twitter. That's all right. Not gonna trip. Anyway, so what y'all been up to? Hey, extended clips. What you been up to, man? What you been up to besides getting money? I know you be out there getting that money, man. Getting that good money. I ain't mad at you. Get your money. Yeah. Yeah. So let's look at YouTube and see what other news we can find. You know, these people coming hard at the boy Trump. And he's in for a fight, man, because they're really trying to wage lawfare against him and really trying to drain his coffers. You know, you don't have any money, you can't really fight. And I talked about that earlier with money and justice. You know, good, you know, good representation in court costs, and everybody has the rights to. They have their Sixth Amendment rights. They have their First Amendment rights. They have their Fourth Amendment rights. Their Fifth Amendment rights. But it makes a difference when you're a billionaire as opposed to some poor dude on the street, some everyday guy who really don't have the money to afford the best representation that he can. Justice has a very different look, you know, and a lot of times, you know, really all the time, when you don't have access to money and when you don't have like networks and connections and stuff, you have to take whatever scraps you can get when it comes to fighting the court system, you know, and that's unfortunate because, and I mentioned this before, you wind up being a victim of the justice system. You wind up being a victim of democracy because if you look at the definition of democracy, it is of the people. And the thing about it is the people can be fooled. We have a whole lot of psyop operations going on right now to socially and politically engineer the population and to make them think they want a certain thing or make them think that they want certain agendas and things like that, when really that may be counterproductive to what people actually need. And it's no difference than in a situation of dealing with the court system. You know, as I mentioned before, Project Innocence, Project Innocent is getting guys out of prison every week who were wrongfully convicted, either through faulty or false testimony, DNA, different things like that. Um, questionable evidence and stuff like that. And a lot of that boils down to those guys being in that situation in the first place, not being able to afford the best representation in these courtrooms that they can get. So, you know, it is what it is. That all being said, I got a question to ask. Any of y'all gonna get some of those never surrenders from Donald Trump shoes? Woo. I like Trump, but that is a bridge too far. I would have to be paid quite a bit of money to wear those shoes. Straight up. Yeah. Yeah. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Man, them shoes are wild, Jack. Yeah. Looking at some stuff on YouTube to look at, but I'm not seeing anything that I would be interested in talking about on this live stream. We still got the immigrant situation going on. Oh, yeah, I'm in Florida, man. And Ron DeSantis has been going hard at making sure these boatloads of Haitians don't show up on the shores of Florida. Because believe it or not, Florida is a border state. A lot of people don't realize that, but yes, Florida is a border state. And Florida has historically been a place that you've had different populations from the Caribbean make way into the U.S. You had the Cubans, you got the Bahamians, you got the Haitians, you got Dominicans. You got several groups that Florida is how they get into the country. So Ron DeSantis is saying no, access denied. Ron, wow. Hey, Ron ain't having it, man. Ron is not having it at all. He is not playing any games with these people, man. Yeah. Yeah, I can't say I blame him, man, because you get people into the country that didn't come in through the proper channels. And not only does it set up the organic or the resident population for problems, it also causes problems for the people who didn't come into the country legally. I was talking earlier about in Polk County, Florida, where the Polk County Sheriff's Office did a human trafficking. They did a trafficking operation, um, and they rounded up like 250 people. Quite a few of those people were illegal immigrants from places like Venezuela, so forth and so on, who were involved in the commercialized sex trade. And they were explaining how they got there and how they got involved in the trade. And the funny thing is, a few of the people actually were flown in courtesy of the U.S. government, flown in from New York to Florida in order to, you know, they used that travel to participate in the sex trade in Florida, you know? And they were giving interviews about it and explaining how they got how they moved from Florida to the US. And it was really an indictment of what's going on right now in the system and with how things are being done. It was bad. It was bad, man. You know, you hold on, let me see if I can pull this video up. This is a good one. Man, they caught a lot of people. Hey, these sheriffs in Florida, they do not mess around, man. Them cats, they don't mess around. And when they got you, they got you. Ain't playing no games. Shout out to the various sheriffs in the various counties of Florida. I ain't mad at them. Not at all. You know, I don't like criminals, so I do not like criminals.
Cost of extraction.
Okay, that's certainly not what I wanted. All right, let's do this.
We dealt with 17 firearms this time by
Fair
15
use, fair
different
use.
suspects. 44 people brought narcotics. 12 people came and had outstanding warrants. We appreciate that. They came to us. We didn't have to chase them down. One was a commercial pilot. We had all branches of, we had the branch of the military and teachers, and I'm going to talk specifically about those in a minute. But the comments. One wife sent the detective a message the next day. She said, "Good one, guys. Thank you for helping me in my marriage. Keep doing what you're doing." One John said he worked overtime today, and he just needed to blow off some steam. Well, we gave him a chance to also cool his heels in the county jail. Another one said, "Well, I came here because, I'm going to be incapacitated for 10 days. I got to turn myself in Monday at the county jail for 10 days. The judge sentenced me to previously." Wait, you don't have to turn yourself in. We're going to give you a ride and some additional criminal charges to go through it. One John's.
Hey, I got to say this, man. Hey, while, in Illinois, you had Tom Dart stopping evictions, and you got this sheriff up here. He's stopping criminality. That is a breath of fresh air, man. As Tom Dart was doing, he wasn't doing nothing but enabling criminal behavior, fraudulent behavior. And you got this sheriff here. He was out here giving the taxpayers their money's worth as far as dealing with criminals. Let's go.
Who was married said, "Well, sometimes you just need to see something different." Well, he did. He saw a different woman, but she was undercover. Then he got to see the jail. I would hate to see what it's like at his house when his wife, who's obviously going to watch this, finds out that.
Man, imagine having to go home and explain that to your wife. Yeah, I got caught trying to let me tell you this. I got caught trying to, solicit. Woo! That makes some very tense moments in the house. A lot of y'all girls be tripping about y'all liking pictures on Facebook. Imagine being caught up for this. Whoa. All right. Fair use, fair use. Let's continue.
He just needed to see something different. And then there was a John that was married for 26 years. He said his wife was at the Hard Rock Casino. And he was at, y'all thought I was going to say something, but I'm not. But it didn't turn out to be the Hard Rock Casino. It did turn out to be the Rock, known as Grady Town, or the county jail. When John was married, he said he came here to play golf. Well, I got to tell you, I've heard it called a lot of stuff, but never playing golf.
Man, he's trying to get a hole in one. Yeah. Oh, man. Let's go.
And there was no hole in one. One John said he left his wife and 5 children at home. One prostitute said she'd only been here 2 days. She was here from New York to make money. And instead she came to New York on vacation. And she's going to leave here on probation.
Yeah, that was one of several that they snatched up from New York that came to Florida to make money. The funny thing is, and I can understand that, because New York, for the most part, prostitution is pretty much legal. It's decriminalized, definitely. The next step is legalization, and when you have something like that with prostitution, and you have a population, you have really 2 populations that's just par for the course where they come from, and a part of their culture. You have a lot of people on the streets participating in that, and that drives down the price of that particular vice and bars. And therefore, you're not going to make as much money as you could if you go to a place where it's not legal. You know, that when you do that, that drives the price up. You make more money. And so that's really, it's an issue of street economics. And this particular person understood that, and that's why they came to Florida. Let's continue.
But let's talk about specific people real quickly as I go through this. First we'll start with our athletes. This is Edwin Maderino. He's 54. He's from New York City, New York. He's self-employed, according to him, as a volleyball tutor.
Okay, he ain't an athlete. He's a coach. He's not an athlete. Let's continue.
He used to be a coach at Monroe Junior College in New York. We don't know if he's still a coach or not. He said he tutors children as young as middle school. He came for sex with a lady. He wanted to pay $150. Oh, by the way, in January of this year, he was arrested in Hillsborough County for what? The same thing. He's married, but his wife's proud of him. To arrest.
Hey, that's almost $440. Hey, that's almost $440, man. Hey, he a wild boy, man. He was
in 2 counties in Central Florida. I don't know if this gets to New York City or not, but we'll put it on social media and you have options. Benjamin Johnson, he's from Plant City. He's a golf pro. He's also an athlete at Eaglebrook in Lakeland. That's right. He's PGA specialized teacher and coach. And he came for sex with a female, $150. He has a criminal history of cannabis and dealing in stolen property. So,
hey, I bet it was golf clubs. I bet it was golf equipment. Hey, that stuff. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, if you've ever went shopping for golf clubs, them joints are not cheap. If you want to get a set of good clubs, you want to get a good caddy, different stuff like that, that stuff is expensive, man. Let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
He can teach you to play golf, or he can teach you how to deal in stolen property, or how to get caught dealing in stolen property. Then there's Wilman Santa Cruz, not to be confused with Santa Claus. He's 50. He says he's a triathlon coach, a certified triathlon coach, and he's a triathlon athlete. You know what's strange about this? The dude showed up with meth. I mean, does that help you perform better when you're a triathlon athlete? Or
Hey, he was about to tie the lining up out of whoever he got a hold of. Boy, had he not got caught, man, it would have been an ugly situation. Woo! Let's continue.
do triathlon athletes who you would think would be the kind of people who took care of their body, was using meth and seeking out the interest of a lady of the evening. Then there's Sergio Collins. He currently is a progressive insurance claim adjuster, but he's married. I bet his wife's not happy. And he says on his LinkedIn page that he's a middle school football coach at Lakeland Christian School.
Hey, it's a whole lot of married guys that got caught up into this mess, you know. Hey, listen. Woo! Hey, ladies, listen. Number one, you got to take care of your man so that it's less likely that he stray. Number two, you need to know what he's doing and where he's going and what he's doing with his money at all times. Because I mean that's just the reality of what it is. Let me see what y'all saying over here on YouTube. Extended clip says, my dad taught me golf and the lessons and practice was a grip. Yeah, man. One of my old bosses, he had a PGA card and he used to, teach people golf. And he told me what he was charging for his rates. I was like, yikes. Oh, yeah, he was making a grip. It was the perfect side gig for him. He was getting like $250 an hour to teach golf. And I was like, man, maybe I need to learn how to play golf. But you got to have that PGA card to charge money like that. He played golf all through high school and college. And, hey, the dude is legit when it comes to golf. Let's get back to this video.
They said, no way, he is not a coach at Lakeland Christian Schools. So when you're doing your press, don't look him up online and take Sergio at his word. The school says absolutely not. He thought he was going to come have sex. But then, of course, if you're going to have coaches and teachers, you might as well have a straight-up teacher. This is Gene Ahume. He's 26 from Auburndale. He's a teacher at New Beginnings High School where he teaches math and science. He came to have sex. He called it a quick visit for $60. Well, since he's able to teach math, he can figure out that it didn't add up when he came this time.
Hey, man, this sheriff ain't shit. hey, he a wild boy, man. Let's continue.
Then Brandy Barnes. She's an IT specialist at Tampa General Hospital. We're going to get into the medical world for a minute. We did the coaches, we did the teachers. She has a criminal history of meth arrest, and she agreed to provide sex to the undercover.
Hey, I'm going to tell y'all something, man. This is not the first time I've seen something like that. In fact, I locked up 2 nurses back in Chicago who was out there on the strip over there by Kenton and Madison. If you from Chicago and you from the West Side, you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly where I'm talking about, man. Hey, 2 nurses. That's wild. Let's continue.
For 1 hour. Okay. Then this is Luxon Gene Brindell. He's 38. He's married. He's in the medical field. He's an RN, a registered nurse at Manatee Springs Nursing Home. He wanted to have sex. He has a criminal history of DUI. So you can still work as a RN. If you get drunk and drive, I'm interested to see if you're going to do anything to his license for a morals act of trying to have sex. We'll find out.
I doubt it. I don't even think that's covered in a lot of those licensing bodies. You know, I would say the exception would be police work, but in some of those other licensing bodies, I don't think that is something that they have sanctions against. But that's just me speculating. So don't take my word for it. Go look it up and find out for yourself. Let's continue.
Louis Navarro, he's from Puerto Rico. He's 61. He's a veterinarian. He's retired from the USDA. He came over to have sex, but his veterinarian license is still current. Maybe I can talk the judge into putting him in the county jail because we always need help with spay and neuters at animal control.
Hey, he was going to hit him with them horse tranquilizers. That's probably what he was trading for. Hey, listen, I had an investigation against a doctor who was providing Oxycontin and what was it? Oxycontin and I believe fentanyl to prostitutes in exchange for favors. And when I say favors, y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, um, uh, what happened with that case? I was called off of it. You know, that corruption that I was talking about. Yeah, that some calls were made, and some people had to talk to certain higher ups of mine and say, "Hey, listen, don't do that one." So I was not happy, but it is what it is. Let's continue.
This is Traycon Giles. He's from Tampa. We're going to the military now. He's a staff sergeant in the Air Force. He came for sex. And he said, well, he's done this before about 6 months ago. He doesn't learn very fast. I can't believe the Air Force would have a slow learner, but I guess they do. And then there's Jaden Hall. He's 19. He's scheduled to begin his Air Force training in May. And oh my goodness, he had a meltdown. This can't happen to me. This can't happen to me. I'm going into the Air Force. Well, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. Who knows?
Hey, listen, them military guys, hey, being somebody that spent 20 years in the military, hey, that's not surprising at all from that staff sergeant. I've seen it more than I care to mention. A lot of those guys that go to different countries and where those type of activities are legal or semi-legal, and that's what they engage in when they're off time and stuff. Here in the States, a lot of young cats go to strip clubs and give their money to strippers, and especially them strip clubs close to military bases. Oh man, them girls are sharks. Them girls get all their money. Excuse me. Them girls get all their money. I seen a situation where you had a guy, man. He wound up giving a stripper $6,000. She got 6 bands up out of this kid. And it was not. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty at all, man. Let's continue.
And then there's Brandon Bush. He's active Air Force as well. Air Force was the only branch of the service we caught this, or Air Force wannabes. He's scheduled at McDill. He's an airman first class. He's not only in the military, but he's a military police officer.
Yo. Hey, you would think he would know better, but nope. Not at all. Not at all, man. He definitely was taking penitentiary risk, and now he might go to penitentiary, man. They might lock him up under UCMJ, man. That's Uniform Code of Military Justice. He might catch some time behind all of that, man. They definitely frown on that, especially stateside. So he might be gone. Let's continue.
So since we talked about military and he's a military police officer, let's get to our law enforcement officer. Y'all Kusi, he's 23. He used to be a detention deputy for me. We fired him when he was arrested in Orange County on February the 9th. No, I take that back. He resigned before we got around to firing him. And then we arrested him again on February the 23rd. So on the 9th, he got arrested in Orange County and resigned. On the 23rd, we arrested him again. And he said, hey, is this a felony now that I'm arrested the second time? He didn't pay attention in the police cap.
Hey, they're going to hit him with an enhanced penalty. Watch. That human trafficking, they're going to bust him across the head when he go to court for that. And he get convicted, they're going to hit him across his back with as much time as they can. And they should, because he knows better. You know, it is what it is. Do I feel sorry for him? Not really. He knew what was at stake, and he got caught twice. You know, the thing about it is, man, with the way stuff is out here now, man, you can get a chick to have sex with you quicker than you can get her to loan you some money. And that's just the truth of it. That's the truth of it. Trust me, I know. I've seen it too much. And so it's like, you know, you really got to go that route, especially in Florida, of all places. In Florida, come on, man. Come on, dog. Oh, come on, man. Come on. Let's continue.
Because he hasn't been convicted yet. So why we were interviewing him, and we go, like, dude, what are you doing? You went from being a stellar employee to committing morals crimes, and it's 2 in a month. He said, I got a problem. No kidding. You got a
Yeah, he got a problem, all right. He definitely has a problem. Let's continue.
big problem. Then there's Alex Everett. He's 34. He says he's on disability. He doesn't work, so that we're paying him to do things like have sex. He called it a quick visit. In his car, we found cocaine, fentanyl, cannabis, a gun. He picked up an armed trafficking and cocaine and fentanyl charge in addition to his misdemeanor soliciting charge.
Hey, that's definitely going to affect his disability, his disability benefit. Oh well. Hey, I'm gonna shut this down right now because I got some stuff I got to take care of, man. I didn't realize I had something to take care of. I got to deal with this dog, get this dog a medication, man. I got one of the sickest dogs I ever seen in my life. Hey, listen, do not buy a $25 dog. Illnesses will turn a $25 dog into a $6,000 dog. Trust me on that. Well, hey, listen, I got to get on out of here. I'm coming back though because I got to do some more Babble, and I got some more stuff I want to talk about now. I just want a chance to run my mouth. So, hey, listen, this is Mr. Royce, Royce Media. Like, share, subscribe. I appreciate everybody that came through. I'll be back a little bit later. Y'all be easy. Be safe traveling home from work or going to work for you all that work evening shift. And I will talk to you guys later. I'm out.